In this episode of Cop Cam Max, police pull over a living trust for running a red light. The trust was in a hurry. After all, living entities have bodily needs.
Hello, I'm Ross from Large Oak Park. So the reason I stopped is that light back there. There was plenty enough time to stop before the red. So by the time you actually made it into the intersection, the light was already red. Okay. Right. So next time when it's yellow like that, you gotta be slowing down and stopping. All right. You got your license, registration, insurance with you? Okay. The light's out of your eyes. You can put your hand down. Do you have your license, registration, insurance with you? Ma'am. Ma'am, where's your license at?
If you don't give your license to that officer, okay, it's a refusal, and then it's a resisting obstruction.
Okay, that's why I went through the light.
We don't need to make a big deal out of this. Let me just borrow your license, your registration, your insurance.
I don't have all those things.
Why not?
Because I don't. I was just dropping my daughter off.
Okay.
You got an ID on you? So, ma'am.
You got my name is Lita.
Okay, you got anything with your name on it or no? Do you have anything with your name on it?
I don't want to give it to you. I can show it to you.
Okay, that's fine. Just hold it for me.
Did I talk to your supervisor?
No. Ma'am, I need you to display that license at least until I can write it down.
What you're doing is illegal. I have a right to remain silent. Y'all forcing me.
Okay,
to do
then
I feel very
go ahead and
y'all
plead
got
your
guns
fifth.
on you, and y'all with me and my children.
Stop embarrassing yourself.
I'm not embarrassing myself.
Why don't you buy group insurance?
I don't have any of those things with me. I wasn't supposed to be driving.
I don't know why she gotta act this way. Nothing worth acting like a child for, that's for sure.
Ma'am, stay in the car.
Get back in your car.
Don't touch me! Do not touch me! Why are they grabbing me? Help me!
Okay, relax. Relax.
Help me!
527, no, you're gonna hear.
Why are you doing this to
Front of
me?
my car.
Help me! Help me!
Relax.
Why are you doing this to me?
That's fine.
Why are y'all doing this to me? No! How the f can I relax and y'all doing this to me? No, it ain't no relax. You're hurting me. No, you're hurting my wrist. Can you please release me?
Okay. No.
You're hurting me. Why are y'all doing this?
Why are you jumping out of the car? Okay.
I told you, that's why I went through the light.
Why did you start fighting him?
Who did I fight?
My partner.
No, I didn't.
You were pulling away from him.
Pulling away from me?
Just kick your feet out real quick.
Do you have anything?
What's going on with you tonight? Okay.
I feel like I'm dying.
Why are you acting like this?
Because I was trying
This
to
was
get
a
my
civil
daughter
traffic. Okay. And this is going to get you there sooner?
No, I didn't expect y'all to mess with me. I'm a retired fireman.
Okay, we're all firemen. We don't care. Okay?
You're a fireman?
Yes. We're public safety.
But if I look like you, you treat me different. Why am I talking?
Why are you
to
being racist towards me right now?
Well, no, y'all being racist towards me.
You're getting a resisting charge as well.
How resisting? How am I resisting?
You jumped out of the car and then you pulled
I
it.
got out the car to get tissue. Can you please can I just sit on the concrete?
In the vehicle.
Sit down. You want another charge? Sit down. Put your feet in. Hello. Do any of you have a valid license?
Wasn't fine.
What? Okay, so here's the deal, okay? She's going to jail. So before we tow the car, does anybody have a valid license that we can release the car to? I'm sorry? That's not what I'm asking. If someone in here has a valid license, yes, the car will be released. If not, it will be impounded. Okay? So that's the decision that we want to make. If everyone wants to plead the fifth and remain silent and go sovereign on us, that's perfectly fine too. Okay? So do you have an ID? Does anybody have a valid driver's license? No?
Can I talk to a supervisor, please?
Me, man. I'm a sergeant.
Hi, Sergeant. Listen, I have an irrevocable living trust.
Oh, what?
An irrevocable living trust.
What's that mean?
It means this is trust property.
I'm sorry?
It's trust property.
What's trust property?
My car, me, all of it is trust. I have an estate. All of this going on right now is all a misunderstanding. I'm tired.
That's why it's kind of dangerous in this day and age for someone to get out and pop their...
You know what? I'm one of them people who actually was stupid enough to believe that color don't matter and that y'all would understand. That's why I got out my car.
Nothing to do with it, man. It's dangerous
I
for someone to
wasn't-
get out of the car and pop their trunk. I mean, what do you think?
I have my children with me because I'm black. You think I do
I
something?
had never. You're the one.
Y'all got weapons on y'all.
I'm telling you right now, it's dangerous for someone to get out of the car and pop their trunk.
I was trying to
It's
get
not
some
normal for a
tissue.
traffic stop for someone to get out of the car and pop their trunk.
I was trying to get some tissue.
Okay.
And I try to teach my children there's no racism. Come on now.
There is no racism.
Why are they talking to my children?
They're just checking to make sure they're okay. But listen, you got a whole bunch of cops around them. They're probably scared.
Of course they're scared. I'm scared. Y'all doing? They grabbed me. They just grabbed their injured mom, their disabled mom, and they manhandled me. They treated me like a in the street. So what do you mean?
First of all, don't use words like that, okay?
I'm sorry. That's how I'm treated in this society. I apologize.
can promise you I did not treat you.
I apologize if
Okay.
you say you didn't, but in this society, I've been treated like that for 52 years. And I'm educated.
Sorry about that, but
I'm educated.
you know I didn't treat
Look
you
me
like
up,
that because
look me up and see if I'm a retired fire department. See if
I
have a
totally
degree.
believe you. I'm not disputing
I'm not a
that
criminal.
fact.
I'm not a felon.
She was trying to play the whole sovereign citizen thing, where she thought she didn't have to provide any information, regardless of who she is. When a traffic stop is initiated, you're required to provide three things: driver's license, insurance, and proof of registration. All right, all three. When you fail to provide a license, that is when, if you watch most videos, you see like officers break windows and all that. That's what happens. We didn't do that, right? But then whoever CSU decided to jump out of the car. I'm not also going to do that either. Because again, if you look at the Oakland County deputy that just got shot, guess what happened there? 3 people jumped out, and guess what happened to him? He got killed, right? I know you probably think it's a joke. I see you smirking. I ain't too happy with you.
I'm smirking.
And I know damn well.
That was just my resting face.
I know damn well when she gets in the car, she's going to blame all this on us. And that's fine by me.
Can they please get away from my children? My children are innocent.
Well,
why is
that's
he holding
okay.
his
They
gun
just-
like he's gonna
they're
shoot
just gonna
my
be there
child?
doing their
Why is he
jobs.
holding his gun like that?
Because that's what's comfortable. You always
Because they're black?
no, that's
Or y'all
nothing to do
think we're
with
black?
it.
We're not even black. We're indigenous.
I
So
never
that's
said
crazy.
you were black.
No, but they're holding. Why is he holding his gun at my car with my
That's where
children?
people's hands rest comfortably.
Okay, all right.
All right, so here's the deal for tonight. You could be going in for resisting obstructing.
What's not resisting?
Okay, I understand. So I think there's a little bit of a mix-up and you misunderstood what was going on during this traffic stop. That's why you came out of the car, right? Okay. So listen. We're just going to issue you a citation for the red light. We're not going to take you in. We could, but we're not going to go down that road. We got your kids with you. I respect that, okay? So slide your feet out. We're going to get you out of here, send you back on your way. We're just going to go up to the front of my car real quick.
Y'all did this in front of my children.
Right on up here. Had you stayed in your car, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
How would you like somebody to treat your mama like this? No, I'm just asking.
Well, my mom doesn't jump out on traffic stops and start fighting cops. I can tell you
I
that.
did not fight you. I would never. I'm a woman.
You pulled away from my partner.
No, I didn't mean to pull away.
That's
You
okay.
scared me.
Like I said,
Look,
it's a
wrist.
misunderstanding.
Look at my wrist. Look at my wrist.
Your wrists are okay. Your wrists are okay. Just try and calm down.
Do you have a
Back
mama?
to your car.
Do you have a mama?
Walk back to your car.
It's all good.
The citation is on your dashboard with your driver's license. Okay? Try and calm down and then drive off safely. You guys ever been in a traffic stop? Don't hop out of the car. Have a good night.
Officer Maloche, would you please state your name?
Yes, ma'am. First name Nathan, Nathan. Last Maloche, Mloche.
And Miss, would you please state your name?
I'm the executrix of the estate for leader.
All right, we're here today for, looks like a ticket that was issued. All right, Officer Maloche, it's the government's burden, so you'll go first. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury?
I do.
All right, so what can you tell me about the ticket that was issued?
Yes, ma'am. Citation was issued due to disobeying the red light at actually Coolidge and North End. And then once that light cycled through, I initiated a traffic stop just north of Pearson, just south of Albany on Coolidge there at about approximately 10:45 p.m. At that time, I wanted to speak to Ms. Initially, she refused. She did provide a license and eventually started speaking with me. Returned to my patrol vehicle, at which time she exited her vehicle, went to the rear of her vehicle, opened up her trunk. Went up to speak with her and escort her back to her seat in her car, at which point she started resisting. So my fellow officer and I took her to the front of my car, spoke with her, initially handcuffed for officer safety. We released her without charging her for the misdemeanor for resisting obstructing, and we just went with the disobey red light. And actually at minute 158 of my body cam, Miss does admit to the infraction of disobeying the red light, states she had used that.
When you say resisting, what do you mean?
So initially we went up to her, asked her to step away from the trunk. Obviously we didn't know what was in there. She then began to retreat from officers. We then grabbed her arm to help escort her to her vehicle, at which point she tensed up, pulled away, and started screaming at us.
What do you mean by screaming? What did she say?
All I have here is that she kept screaming, "Help me." Initially, when she was in her vehicle, she stated she didn't want to speak with us and that we were forcing her to say things against her will, and that she was nervous because we had our sidearms and we were near her children. Once she was resisting, all I have noted here is that she kept screaming, "Help me." And that's all I've got in terms of that. I don't have access to my body camera footage at this time.
All right. And Ms.
I'm the executrix for the hi, I'm the executrix for the trust for.
All right, Ms. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury?
I do.
All right. What can you tell me about the ticket that was issued to you?
Your Honor, I actually put in paperwork and asked for discovery, and I was advised that I shouldn't testify until I get my discovery packet.
So this isn't a criminal case. It's a civil infraction. You were free to order under the Freedom of Information Act any information regarding this case prior to the hearing. So it's not like a criminal case. It's a different standard. It's just a preponderance. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. But you most certainly would have had access to that if you just FOIA'd the report or the body cam in this case. But we are having the hearing today, and you're free to give me your side of the story if you so choose.
On the day in question, I went through a red light. I had to use the bathroom, like really desperately. I had 3 teenagers in the car with me, and when the officers approached my vehicle, touching their sidearms, my daughter had the identification, and I explained to them that this was a trust situation, and they didn't care. She was terrified, and she ended up taking out my ID because she did not want us to get killed or beat up or anything, because things have happened to family members. I didn't want to get tased. She didn't want us to get tased or beaten or killed. So she ended up taking out my ID because I did not have to identify. It was not a situation for identifying, but we were forced to because of the guns and stuff, and my children were terrified. My son's girlfriend was in the car. She was terrified. I told him it was a trust situation, and I told him I had to use the restroom, and because he said something about me going through the red light, which there was no traffic. The traffic light is to direct traffic. There was no traffic. I really had to go, and I was really trying to get to the destination because I have a medical condition that's life-threatening right now. So I explained it was a trust, and they went to the car, and I got out to get tissue out my car, which I have a receipt and a picture that I did have tissue in my car. I was going to use the bathroom on the side of a house or wherever because I was not going to expose myself to waste matter with my blood condition. They came up to me, and I was like, "Ma'am, what are you doing?" They all rushed towards me. They all grabbed me. Then all of a sudden, somebody had their hands between my legs, brisket touching me, my breasts, searching me. They pushed me up against the car. They put cuffs on me in front of my children. They put me in the back of the car. I was screaming for help. They went up to the car, and they were taunting my son in front of his girlfriend and his little sister who looks up to him. Like, I said, I just had to use the bathroom. I asked them nicely. I said, "Can you please just sit me on the ground? I do not want to waste inside of your car." I wasted myself in my car once I got back in my car after they put me in the back of the car. So that's what happened on that day. And I asked the officers, "How would you want your mother handled? I'm an older woman." And they did this in front of my children. I went to the temple earlier that day, a sacred Hindu temple, and did sacred rituals. Wasn't nobody supposed to be touching me. And somebody just came up to me and was touching between my legs and my breasts. And I don't know where they came from. And they were all surrounding me.
Anything else you want to say, Ms.?
I was screaming for help because I was terrified for my life. I was not guilty of anything, but needing to use the bathroom and not wanting to soil myself. I just wanted to get to my destination, which literally 2 minutes away. I did not make it.
Okay. All right. The court has heard the testimony from Officer Meloche and from Ms. In this case, the standard is a preponderance of evidence. Mr. Meloche testified that he saw Ms. run the red light at Coolidge and North End. Ms. acknowledged running the red light red light in question in this case. The people's burden is satisfied beyond a preponderance of the evidence in this case. I'm finding Ms. responsible for running a red light. The fine is going to be $165. You'll have till October 1st to pay it. I will send that to the address where we send the other notices, so you'll get the paperwork in the mail. You're all set.
Excuse me, Your Honor. So what I'm asking you is, I have a question. You're telling me, is the court telling me that trust situations are not seen as trust because this is a trust matter? This is not
Right,
what
so Ms. May, there's no trust situation recognized by the court. You are responsible. Make sure you pay the fine by October 1st.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to CopCam Max. And if you enjoyed this video, please watch another episode of CopCam Max.